Here we go. Another day, another Manchester United story. Now, this time it is something that is very cyclical. It's something that just keeps coming up. And what is that, you might ask? The manager has lost the dressing room. And obviously, if you've been watching or following even just the EPL, you know that this happens every so often. It's just a cycle. It's a cycle. They get a caretaker or they get a manager. They do well, not good enough. They believe them. They back them. They spend some money. They start not getting the results, and then the players lose faith in the manager, and then they fire the manager again, and it's just this toxic cycle of garbage. Um, and you almost expect to see it. Honestly, it's like clockwork. It's like Christmas time. It's like when the clocks move forward an hour, back an hour, spring forward. It's just another sign of Manchester United being Manchester United. Now, I've always been saying it that Manchester United are just one of the most toxic places. Just like PSG, players have taken over. And when you give players that kind of authority, it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just that players are going to put themselves over the club. It's just a natural human thing, as they should, honestly. But what that means is that they then have no structure. And Manchester United can just shoulder this because they are probably, if not the biggest brand in, for sure, at least England. PSG can shoulder it because they just have endless amounts of money. But it's never going to build you a winning culture, and it's never going to build you a successful team that is going to be consistent. But either way, here it is. The report came in from Sky Sport News, in which their insiders talking about how the manager has lost the dressing room.
My information, for what it's worth, is that some of the players are confused about what is happening, and he has lost elements of the dressing room. One source telling me that he's lost about 50% of the dressing room. Quite a few players.
Again, it's like 50% of the dressing room. It's just the guys that are going to be in there. And I don't want to play the whole thing because I think it'll get taken down. But um, he goes on to say that, they're training very hard and they're just being overworked and they don't, they're not sure that that's the best way to go about it. Um, you're getting paid to do a job. So that, like, I don't want to be old man yells at cloud type thing, but that's pretty much your job. That's pretty much, if you want to become an elite footballer and you want to become a cohesive unit and you want to get, your manager's ideas through, like now we see, again, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I feel like this gives us insight as to, people always ask Ten Hag, what's his philosophy? It's not showing. Where is his pattern of play? Where's the Ajax Ten Hag? And I feel like now we're seeing why we're not getting the Ajax Ten Hag. It's because he has players on that don't want to put in the work, frankly. Like, normally I'm more player than, management, than whoever. But at a certain point you have to look in the mirror and you got to say, I'm not, like, they're not putting in the effort. There was also a story in which Nemanja, I'm sorry, yeah, Matic, claims that players were late all the time. This was an interview he did with YU Planet. He claims that ahead of they had internal disciplinary committee. He says at Chelsea they were a proper professional club where they were punctual, they were never late, and they were in to put in work. And then he moves to Manchester United, and guess where they weren't doing? They weren't doing the same thing. Here's another quote. Among the players who would always be late are Paul Pogba and Jadon Sancho. Listen, I don't want to keep shitting on these players. Like, I know that Paul Pogba has taken a lot of crap. I think Jadon Sancho has maybe that's gone too far. Maybe it's not. Whatever you might think. But if you're not going to put in the work, at a certain point, your employer, your manager, the guy who's making the decisions is going to be like, enough is enough. Like, if you don't want to be part of the squad, then be out. And honestly, if I was a Manchester United fan, I would be backing that. I'd back Ten Hag 10,000% because it's like there can't be that many managers that just keep not making it click. The rest of us were always on time, we're angry, so we decided a form of internal discipline where they would find the players, and he goes on to say that they were going to use it as use the funds for a party, but to collect 75,000 in fines is absolutely ridiculous. Like, again, for somebody to have to pay, like, I'm not paying that. And for these guys to just not care enough to rack up fines in the 75,000 is not a small fee there. And then again, you have Gary Neville, who also commented on the story, and he said he's tired of watching his club, and they just kind of keep going through the same thing. It's Groundhog Day. They just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and it just goes nowhere. So it's frankly, if you're a Manchester United fan, at a certain point, it's not just about the Glazers. It's not, which it kind of is, right? Because they're ultimately letting this happen, but it can't be all on the Glazers, or they have to do something to just back the manager, frankly, start over. They can't be doing any worse than they're doing now. So why don't you just start over, take a loss, take a hit on some of these players, get rid of them, get a sporting director in there that you feel is gonna be good. Him and Ten Hag, back them, and set a completely new culture, because I know it will be brought up a lot. But Sir Alex Ferguson, and again, he's the greatest, obviously. Probably one of the greatest, for sure the greatest Manchester United coach. He's the greatest, and he would never ever have put up with this. And that's what made him special. Whenever somebody thought that they were above the club, above the manager, they're gone. Pep Guardiola does a similar thing. Jurgen Klopp does a similar thing, where it's like, okay, you don't want to be here? I'm not going to tie you here. If you don't want to be here, get out, but this is how we run shit. And at Manchester United, the players tell you how they're going to run stuff. And it's a shame. And hopefully the situation changes, obviously. For Manchester United, I don't care. I love it. 7-0 every day. I love it. I'm a Liverpool fan. But as an outsider looking in, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. They look like they're running competently. And then the players just get to do whatever they want because they just fill that hole in the chaos. And listen, for me, love it. I love the banter. I love that, I hope that they get relegated. They won't, but it's just, I don't care. But from an outsider looking in, that's what I would think would help run Manchester United the right way. I mean, they would probably need 1 or 2 years to get rid of the players that they have that they, don't want to do. They don't want to build around or have the toxic culture, and just start over and start fresh. They have the funds, and they have shown to have the funds. Just start over, but start it the right way. Build a great foundation and be able to build out from there. But we'll see what they do. Like I said, it's really just cyclical. It just keeps going around in a circle. It's just the same stuff over and over again. You can almost map it out. When I saw that report from Sky, I was like, of course, because you're getting reports. They're just getting bashed all the time. And you see compilations of Marcus Rashford not running back, not tracking back. You see Martial just not trying, getting into it with his manager. And you see all these players. That's why you give Scott McTominay the chance. because he's out there, he's fighting, he's playing. That's why you give Harry Maguire the chance, because his mentality, at least his mentality was, I want to fight. I want to be here. I want to be at the club. I want to be successful here. It doesn't matter if I'm successful elsewhere. I want to be successful at Manchester United, and those are the type of players you want. So again, that's just me from an outsider looking in. That's what it looks like. And we'll see if Manchester United can get it together. I don't know. I don't know if they can. Not until the Glazers get serious, but let's see if Ten Hag can somehow manage to find a way to impose his philosophy and what he wants to do.